Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sydney Dragway. That's right, tonight it is Aeroflow Race for Real, and the rocket is fired up. It's going to be a great night of racing. Up in the commentary box, we call him Mr. Holden, an absolute legend here at Sydney Dragway of the commentary team, Mark Thomas. How are you, Mark?
Oh, mate, absolutely sensational. You're right, mate. It is going to go off tonight. That track is just looking sensational from up here. The night is perfect. Mate, it's all the good things for drag racing.
Mate, when I came out here this afternoon, my temperature gauge in my car was saying 22 degrees. So the track going to have a little bit more heat in it in the early stages this evening. And we're going to kick it off with the Mitsubishi Lancer up against a little Nissan Pulsar. Now, of course, my first car, Mark, was a 1987 Holden Astra, and which were virtually a similar car to what that Pulsar is. It was a fun little car to drive. And first time I was down on track and doing it the right way, getting it off the streets, doing it here at Aeroflow Race for Real. If you're watching us via YouTube from around the world, welcome to Sydney Dragway, guys, as the Lancer takes off with a .746 reaction time. How are you, Kyle? Okay. Oh, I just got the eyes, Mark. Back to you.
Thanks there, Stu. And the Lancer runs through 14.9 and 94 miles an hour. That's not too slow at all for that car. So, and as Stewie was saying, we do have our co-commentator. The Bushman himself will be up here very soon. The man is just full of wealth. The only problem I could say, he likes forwards.
But it's great to see this BABF Falcon back, the Barrage Tuning Solutions Falcon. Haven't seen it for a little while, Mark.
Nah, mate, hopefully it was away because they were doing a bit of work to it. Whoa, moving round the top end of the track. Goes through 12.7, 97 miles an hour to a 13.5 for the VX Commodore. Well, Stewie, you had a bit of a full-on view of that car then. Did it move as much as I thought they did down the bottom end of the track?
There was a little bit of movement down the end, but I don't think it was as pronounced from down here as what it is probably from up there, although you've got the better view. Speaking about a good view, Mark, we've got our regular back out in the little Honda Civic. He's just about out here every week. And a first-timer out here in the Subaru WRX. So welcome to all our racers that have turned up early. You're probably coming at the best time of the night, actually, because, as I said, the track have a fair bit of warmth in it. And it is slightly cool out here, Mark, but it's not unbearable.
Mate, it will suit those turbo cars really well.
Now this Subi is just staging just slightly to the right of the groove, which is fine. It's only which is okay because it's only a first timer.
And that's the thing too, all the first timers out there, just if you're not sure about anything, there's heaps of officials wandering around. Just ask the question. If you got can't find none of them, all our racers out there more than happy to help you. Just ask whatever you are not sure about. And don't think you got to come out, do the big burnout or anything like that. If you don't feel comfortable with it, just go round the water. You will be directed by our starters, and just keep an eye on them. they'll get you in the right place at the right time.
A little bit of a hop off the start line for that first timer in the WRX. And if you are a first timer and you are driving a car that is four-wheel drive, just take it easy on your first pass, because obviously there is a lot more stress through your drive line compared to a lot of the front wheel and the rear wheel drive cars, and we don't want you to break your car. So just take it easy. I know you want to go fast, but just bear in mind sometimes you've got to drive it home, so you've got to be a bit more reserved.
Yeah, and Stewie, they're going to get, plenty of passes tonight. So use your first couple of passes as just settling in, get the idea of the track, down the bottom end of the track. Once you go past the Aeroflow and Rocket down the signs down there, just start backing off and starting to break in down for the coming down. You do have a bend down the very bottom of the track that goes round, virtually goes right, loops right round, and then comes back up the return road.
Yeah, this track can be very unforgiving at times. So just while we've got this little bit of an oil down, Mark, going to do a couple of interviews, and a man that races just about every week. Now, normally, Mark, we're used to seeing him come out with his high comp assisted silver Commodore.
Yep.
But tonight, Ian's brought out the big car. He got the Harrop Supercharger. What's going on, Ian?
Not much, mate. Just here again, having a bit of fun.
Now, Mark, this is your first time. Sorry, Ian, this is your first time driving this car?
Yes, we'll say that. Yes. Yeah.
So you were saying to me earlier that you're not really quite sure what to expect out of this car. What's the major? I mean, aside from the supercharger, what's the major difference between that and your old car?
There's not much really. My car's got a torque, but it hasn't got the top end, which I suspect this does. I haven't really put it through it yet, so I'll ask me after the first pass.
Well, mate, I'll tell you, what's the goal for tonight, though?
Lay some rubber and get into the 11s.
I know you just like to come out and have fun, but it's great to see you here, Ian. And yeah, Ian said to say a big shout out to you guys upstairs too, that are doing a great job each and every week.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Mate, be interesting to see how the VF goes. The Harrop makes some great superchargers, and they've got that many versions now for the pumping out different, more boost for different reasons, and so be good to see how it does go down the track.
Now, Mark, you can't see it, but just below you, we have got, without a doubt, one of the toughest Cortinas, well, looking toughest Cortinas I've seen for a little while. This thing has got big set of tyres on the rear end of it. How you going, buddy?
Not bad, mate. You?
Very well, thank you. First of all, mate, what's your name, please?
Pat.
Mate, welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real. Tell me a little bit about your Cortina, because, mate, this thing looks wild.
Well, it's a LS2 twin turbo, but we're only playing with it tonight, mate. Just doing a bit of tuning.
Wow, wow. So have you raced a car here before?
No, not this first time.
First time. Hey, Mark, I'll tell you, mate, you can't see from upstairs, mate, but I've got a smile a mile wide looking at this car, mate. I cannot wait to see this thing go down the track. Tough TD. And boy, do we have some tough cars. Speaking about tough cars, Mark, now, if you're a drag racing fan, you obviously here at Aeroflow Race for Real. You want to see tough street cars. But if you love 57 Chevys as much as we do, I'll tell you what, if you're not here at the track, you want to get here, guys. Dom Lucci has brought out his weekend cruiser, a blown 57 Chevy. And of course, we know Dom quite well through drag racing and burnouts with Light 'em Up, his HZ. But I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see that thing. 2 tons of heavy metal, mate, with a lot of metal hanging out of the bonnet. So keep your eye out for that one.
Yeah, very impressive car, Stu. walked past it and I just about tripped over one of the witches' hats down there because I was just staring at it with me jaw dropped to the ground. It is such a well-prepared car. It looks sensational, but with what's hanging out the bonnet, it's definitely got the goods to go with it. And, mate, that Cortina down there, I actually did see it just going through the scrutineering. Mate, that is one tough car.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We've seen a lot of very tough Cortinas over the years here at Sydney Dragway. But, I mean, when you look at something like that, which isn't overdone. I mean, yes, it's got the big tubs on the rear end and the big tyres and, you know, the little roll cage on the inside. But if you look at the car from where I'm standing, it still looks like an old school TD street car without any hardcore work done to it. So I'm interested to see what he gets out of it. We're back in the racing.
Hey, Stu, one question for you. Did I hear right? Did he say it's got an twin-turboed LS in it?
I'm not sure if it's twin-turboed. I know it's... Oh, in the Cortina?
Yes.
It may be, yes. I mean, it is drag racing, Mark, and with the LSs, as we know, the turbo route seems to be the most common thing with the LSs these days. I can see the Bushman up in the studio. I can see he's come in at the right time too with the Cortina not far off coming out. But first off, we got the Forester about to take on the R35 GTR. Bushman, how are you, buddy?
Could you see me from down there? I thought I was just sneaking in. I'm well, thank you, Stu. How are you tonight?
Really, really well. We've got a great night of racing and we've got some tough cars out the back. The R35 out like a scolded cat. 1080. Wow, geez, that's quick.
Yeah, good mile an hour, 230 through the finish line. A little bit of fume out of the Forester there. I dare say it might be the first time it's copped full throttle in a little while. Do you reckon?
Probably has. Yeah.
Do you reckon, Mark? And hopefully it clears up for the next run.
Yeah, I think they just cleaned out some cobwebs.
Yes, that's certainly what it appeared to be like. I heard Stewie mention it's a gorgeous night outside. It's not particularly cold right now, but as you say, good horsepower making weather. And the track's still with a reasonable amount of heat in it, hopefully. And we'll see some good times. We're going to see a bit of old versus new in this run. We've got a little Cortina down there in the Aeroflow lane.
Mate, you love this Cortina. Twin turboed. Never been out to the track before. So just going to put in a couple of passes.
Okay, nice. I'm guessing a 347 Windsor or 351 or something like that? Or is it like 1,000 cubed?
Mate, I may have just been wishful thinking, but I'm sort of sure that he said it's a LS twin turbo.
His first time taking the car down the track, Steve. So, relatively new build for this car.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with an LS if it works.
It'll work.
Of course it will. I am a Ford guy, but he's redeemed himself by putting the two boost builders on the side.
Yeah.
Taking on the BMW in this run over in the Rocket Lane. The Cortina, unfortunately, not waiting for the tree to come down. Just listening to our track mics, it's almost just going for a cruise down the...
Does indeed, yeah. It's just not building boost at all off the line. And, yeah, down the track. But he did say car's never been out, so maybe he was just doing a little slow pass work.
Observation run, if you like. But, and that's completely fine. Of course, that car, I'm assuming making plenty of horsepower. It's just a matter of getting it to the ground. It might have worked well on the dyno if he's put it on the dyno. And, there's nothing like actually coming out and putting it on the road and say, well, this is how it actually reacts. You can simulate a road environment as much as possible, but it's never the same as the real thing.
It's very... a lot of people get, I suppose, a little bit depressed, really. They throw them on the dyno, and if it's a bit of a happy dyno, it'll make an absolute heap.
Yeah.
And do all the right things, But as you said, Steve, the moment you put it on the black stuff, it's you've got all the road conditions, you've got all the load up and everything.
Yes, exactly right. And obviously you're putting pressure on trans brakes to try and build boost and all that sort of thing, where obviously on a dyno you haven't got that same resistance.
No.
So yeah, sometimes you don't always get a true reading. I know that they're not bad. I'm not saying that they're not any good. Certainly a good tuning tool, but you still need to have a mix of the real thing versus the dyno work.
It gives you your baseline.
Yes.
Yeah, I know our last motor that was built in the Trana. It went on the dyno and done decent figures, but when we bought it out here and then just played with it, put all the gauges on it and run it up and down and just play with all the jetting, and it just produced masses of horsepower from there on.
Yeah. But you had the baseline from the dyno.
Yep.
Well, boys, we've got RS5 about to come out. I was down in scrutineering when this car went through, and they popped the bonnet. There's literally nowhere, and I mean nowhere, Mark or Steve, to put your hand down to work on that car. And the gentleman just said he's getting some bolt-ons put onto that car very soon. So I don't know where they're going to fit it in that engine bay, because there's literally hardly any room in it. But it's an impressive-looking car, these Audis.
Yeah, exactly right, Stu. They are a pretty impressive package, and definitely pretty fast out of the box as well. Several tuning companies, have come up with very good packages for those cars, with the ability to still maintain a very drivable, daily drivable arrangement. But certainly comes alive when you decide to push a few buttons and turn a few warning devices off, I guess. They certainly come alive. So 12.16 with a 5, 1:17 through the finish line for the Rocket Lane, and a 14.1 in the Aeroflow lane there.
BMW down in the Aeroflow lane. I think we're a little forward, is it?
Yes, a little Focus, it looks like. The Focus might have its work cut out for it, but you never say never.
No, absolutely.
Ben's over there laughing at the stream, and unfortunately we can't see it.
Well, BMW was moving around a little bit there mid-track.
Yeah, wow, look at the speed. 135 mile an hour there, 11.26 with a 1, and 1.9 seconds to the 60 foot.
I think top end of the track just built up heaps of top end speed.
All right, boys, we've got the little Honda import back again, and beside him is a Suzuki Cappuccino, little 600cc turbocharged weapon. It is a battle of the true pocket rockets. I did say to the owner earlier of the Cappuccino, it would be a fun little car to have a punt around a track in. And he's told me it is. He said it's like a huge go-kart. So he enjoys it, absolutely loves it, and it's a good side-by-side race between the two imports.
I thought it might have bred over the weekend.
All right, guys, got Nans VN out here in the Rocket Lane. In beside him is a very tough S15 Silvia. Does have a set of radials on the rear end of it, boys. Keep an eye on it.
Sounded like the Silvia was building some boost on the start line, but hasn't really come alive till probably the 330 foot mark, and still runs on through. Big speed for the ET, 117 mile an hour through the finish line at only a 13.6, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. It was really all top end.
Yep.
Bottom end, the V6 Commodore was with it all the way.
Yeah, till probably about the 330 foot mark. So if you hear Mark and I talking about our increments as we work our way down the racetrack, of course, The start line is where those orange witches hats are, where the cars are lining up right there. You can see them bringing the top light on, the pre-stage light, and then the full stage light, which is the second white light down. The tree counts down. That first box that the Aeroflow lane's passing there was the 60 foot. Then the next one is 330 feet, 015 light for the Aeroflow lane. Then we go the 594 and the 660. The 660 mark is half track, 200 metres from the start line. Then we have 1,000 foot and the 1254 and then the 1320. So 1320 is then the actual finish line.
Yep.
So, and those points are, you can see the square box in the middle of the racetrack on the centre line there. That is basically a reflector. There's a laser beam shot from the wall to that reflector, and the computer works out for us distance over time, and that gives us either a time or a speed if that's what we're looking for.
And you will see sort of probably not a real lot here tonight, but some of the competition cars might. The guys really do a full breakdown on their time cards. Yeah. They will dissect that down, see where they're making power, where they're not, where they're picked up, where they haven't, depending on if they've done any changes to the car.
Yeah, definitely. The changes, the increments of the timers give a lot of information to the racers, especially if they're trying to get a better 60 foot. That's obviously something that they'll focus on. Then they'll look at where that affects other parts of the racetrack as well. So Brett Stutchbury in the Holden Commodore in the Rocket Lane. Now Brett, one of our regular racers here at Sydney Dragway. Strong burnout from both cars. I'm not sure if that's Eden over there in the Aeroflow lane. I know he has a black Statesman.
Wow.
Definitely sounds like supercharger or something whining away there.
Did indeed.
It wasn't tyre smoke coming out of the back of it though. 10.02 with a 4, 137 mile an hour. Wow, I think that caught Brett by surprise.
Yes, indeed.
Now, did somebody say UC?
Do you see what I see?
Oh, I do see what you see. It's the UC Tirana. As Ben said to me earlier, you don't see a lot of these UCs around.
No, because they're all being chopped up and made into LXs.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Father went to the All Holden Day swap meet on Saturday, and he came back amazed. Like, not necessarily a Holden guy, but there was some people selling some items there. He was, I'll use the word astounded at how much they were wanting for certain items, with all the stickers and bits and pieces. And I said, yeah, but the problem is, Dad, that's probably the first thing back when the car was new. That was the first thing that got the chop. So nobody kept it. That was chucked out or thrown under a bench somewhere and got made into something else. But now that the restored cars have such a strong market, those things that were never wanted as an upgrade or discarded to make way for an upgrade are now priceless because there's not many of them. And if you're trying to restore a car to an inch of its life and you need that item that has all those original stickers and blah, 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 then it's obviously worth the money.
Yeah, I know I kept some of the hard-to-get parts back in the early days when I was building heaps of Tiranas. I kept a lot of those, so they're all hidden away. And
like Mark's rubbing his hands together.
Like a factory T-bar out of a LC.
Yes.
Well, they're not a T-bar. They're look like a gear shift.
Yes.
But all set up with the whole auto thing. The XR Falcon or XT?
It's got round tail lights. It's a Falcon.
Come on, you're the Ford man.
I don't know a huge amount about the 70 models in Falcons, but we've got Brian Addis Singh over there in the VY Commodore out with an 051 red light. Falcon's going to drive on around him though, Mark.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I was just having a chat with Andrew, who I've known for a number of years, Steve, who helped build that Falcon, actually. A lot of work's gone into it. Now, Dom Lucci out in the big 57 Chevy Bel Air, but we welcome back here as well from Area 51 Custom Performance. We welcome Eden back. Now, he's got the 2-speed power glide in the ute now.
So that wasn't Eden in the Statesman, obviously. And I am loving the sound of that 57 Chev in the burnout for Mr. Lucci over there in the rocket lane. Of course, what's tougher than a blown 57 street car?
Absolutely.
Is one that goes 1.5 to the 60 is what?
Wow.
He's staying in front of that turbo VY Commodore, a 911 at 155. Wow. There is some horsepower under that bonnet, Mark.
Stu, you need to find out what's hiding under that bonnet. Is it big blocks?
Eden's car or the 57?
No, the 57.
57.
Dom's car? I'll go and speak to him.
Mate, anything that drags 2 ton worth of steel at 155 miles an hour is tough.
With the aerodynamics of a block of flats.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's raced before. I tell you what, Eden's time was pretty good too, but but I wasn't expecting the 57 to stick with him.
No.
I mean, we know that Eden's car moves pretty well at the top end of the racetrack. And he's probably got a good 3 to 5 mile an hour advantage there straight away because the front of the Commodore's probably about half the surface area.
Now, as I was saying about that Falcon earlier, it's got a Hercules racing engine in it, or Hercules engine in it, Mark. But as I said, Andrew, who I've known for a number of years now, he helped build that car. And apparently, he was just telling me earlier, he's got a few Tiranas in the build at the moment as well through his business. So hopefully we'll see them out here in the future for Aeroflow Race for Real.
Well, I guess, G, you're right. These workshops put a lot of time and effort into preparing these cars for, all sorts of different purposes. And if the proprietor has an interest in motorsport, there's probably a good chance that they might put a little bit of pressure on the customer to say, well, you know what? I want to see what this thing does. Are you keen or not? And I guess, is there any point to building these cars with massive tyres and big blowers and turbos and all this sort of stuff if you're not actually going to use it?
Yeah, you got it.
It's easy for me to say that.
You got to use it. Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do. And it's not my money. Commodore over there in the Aeroflow lane, leaving quite nicely. And running pretty well too. 11.41 with an 8, 118 mile an hour through the top end to a 12.56 at 120 in the rocket lane. I don't even have to look to see who that is. You can tell by the unmistakable whistle of the Pro Charger. That's Joe Sorbello in the Datsun Skyline. Pro Charge LS on board for him, taking on the R35 Skyline over there in the rocket lane. The matchup would appear to be a little bit uneven, but who's to know what's under the bottom of the Skyline?
Wow. We have seen these things come out and run 8s.
Yes. Joe away with an 0.43 light. Over towards the centre line. And he'll run through for a 9.0 with a 6 at 1.44. And the Skyline, 11.54 with a 7 at 1.17. Nothing wrong with that out of the Skyline.
No, not at all. It's just amazing though, like next to a really quick car, how slow it looked.
In fairness, the Skyline wasn't chasing the light like Joe was.
No.
All right, guys, we've got Steve coming out now in his super sedan. I just met him this afternoon. Turns out he owns a pizza restaurant, boys, down at Redfern.
Oh, yes.
La Capola. I'm going to have to go check it out.
One would have to say, where's our pizza? Oh, a little bit of flashing of out the pipes on the shift there.
Do you notice every time it flashed, it had shift light way
Yes,
on.
yes. It was saying, change me, change
Yeah,
me.
yeah, please.
1060 at 129 mile an hour. Of course, a traditional big block in that Monaro. I'll say only 454 cubes.
Well, when you these days you start
Yeah.
talking about big blocks.
598s and 600 plus. You know,
You're
you can-
talking about big blocks.
Yeah, you can buy a crate engine through Rocket Industries, 632 cubes.
Yep.
Probably nudging close to 1,000 horsepower. Well, that's true, Ben. You can get bigger, small blocks too, but I don't know if there's many of them running around. Ryan Franks over there on his Hayabusa. Extended swing arm out in front at the moment. A 921, 146 mile an hour. Looked a little bit uncomfortable on the leave there. Looked like the leg didn't want to get up on, or the foot didn't want to get up on the peg.
And 11.1 for the bike in the Aeroflow lane.
Pretty even off the start line here. The Aeroflow lane had the reaction time advantage, but the Rocket lane with the performance 972, 149.
And 12.8, 104 for the Aeroflow lane.
I don't know about you, Mark, but I keep looking at the staging line camera that we've got at the back of the building, and there's a car in the lineup that's bright green, and I can't help but be drawn to it because it stands out so much. Even with the black bonnet, we'll see that very, very shortly. I saw as I came in, there was a laptop in there, and I'm guessing maybe making a few page up adjustments.
Yep. Looks like a XB, XC.
Yes. The BA Falcon down on the start line with an open pipe by the sound of it. Right.
Okay, they're just wheeling it back. Not sure whether it's losing fluid. They were waving it out.
Yeah, I think I just saw that across the throat signal.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, so it's sweating a bit.
Well,
of horsepower.
unfortunately, guys, it looks like Dom has not come back around in the big 57 Chev. So he may have been told to put that car on the trailer, I dare say. Obviously, we do have safety involved here at Sydney Dragway, and if your car does run to a certain time or a certain speed, then the car does have to protect.
Well, 57 Chev, that's got all the safety equipment.
What, a seatbelt?
Do they have seatbelts?
They probably didn't when they were new.
Lap sash.
Lap sash, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lap belt. Wouldn't even be retractable. Yep. The steering wheel acts as a safety device.
Well, it does, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You're relying on the impacted object to provide the crumple zone.
That's your sternum in it.
Yeah, yeah. So there's probably not too much give in the old 57. No.
Mate, they'll be like running into a block of units.
Yes.
I've done a couple of restorations on some 57s, and I just threw away my normal panel beating hammers.
Yeah, you started with a ball peen.
Yeah, started out with a block hammer. They are real steel.
Of course, now obviously with the modern day vehicle with all the crumple zones and everything, you can basically just touch the pedal and it flexes. You know, it flexes right back, but still it flexes.
The VF Commodore back out again.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange sounding burnout there, wasn't it? Reasonably smoky. Looks like it's on a solo pass. .186 to the 60. Just under 100 mile an hour at half track, and of course 100 mile an hour is 160 kilometres an hour, give or take. 11.57 with an 8 there, so not a bad run out of the rocket lane.
Well, we just got the burner down on the track, so I'd say there's a bit of glycol that leaked out of that Falcon.
Well, the little Honda did all right until it got to the gear change at 188 to the 60. I'm not being critical of the driving. I'm just saying it was underpowered till the gear change.
Come on.
No, I'm not in a position to throw stones, right? Just ask Ben; he'll tell you.
And he remind you.
Yes. Yeah, 125 doesn't work very well.
You just need a real lot of horsepower to carry through on that gear change.
Yeah. I don't think the clutch. I don't think the clutch likes it either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if the clutch slipped a little bit, it might help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're talking, Ben. I'm pretty good at getting lights on them things on the old centrifugal clutch.
So what would one of those juniors 60 at?
I think some of them down to high 1.6s.
Wow.
Yeah. I could ask if you like. I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
I should know. But
It has
yeah.
been a while since you
No.
sat in one.
But I commentate them every month, mate. I should know off the top of my head, but I'll just delve into my phone and message someone who would know, being that they drive one. But
Well, 15 to 93 miles an hour for the rocket lane.
But we've said a few times before that they'll run quicker than a standard Commodore or,
Yes,
a
exactly.
Falcon over the 8th mile. You know, we're
Yep.
talking the A junior dragsters, capable. The ET cutoff during racing is a 790, and some of these cars nudging 85 mile an hour.
Yeah, that's
so they're
quick.
They're certainly a lot quicker than when I used to race, but. I think the centrifugal clutch that Ben was mentioning in my Escort might need a bit of an upgrade. However, I think some of the Mitsubishi runs the CVT, which is, I think, pretty much the same sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Just information, just drive the purple Falcon from a white SS Commodore Sportswagon just turned up with a whole heap of people standing around it with PST Racing on their jumpers. This thing has got a set of radials on the rear end of it and a parachute.
That's what we like.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
No complaints from that up here.
Well, 12.9 at 111 miles an hour for the rocket lane. And 20.2 at 71 miles an hour.
Now, you boys know I'm a bit of a fan of wagons, and let's face it, you don't generally see a VF Commodore Sportswagon turn up with the roll cage and a parachute on the rear end of it. So I can't wait to see what the boys get out of this car tonight. Hey? Cam OTR. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. What's your name there, buddy?
Jason.
Jason, welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real, mate. Look, you got PSC Racing here, so it kind of tells me you've got a turboed LS underneath the bonnet.
I don't know what would happen. I put it in for a tune-up and it come out like this.
Where'd you go for the tune-up? I'm going there.
The problem is he said he wanted 1,000 plus horsepower.
So it's not just a Cam LS, is it, Mark?
No, it's not. We'll see tonight how it goes. First time out, let's see what happens.
So you're going to give away any secrets? It's just turbo LS?
Nah, it's got a charger on it. It's got a charger. Yeah, something different.
Yeah, that is different because most of the cars I've seen out of your workshop were all turbo LS.
Turbo charged, yep.
Well, there you go, Mark.
Hey, Stewie, what type of supercharger is it? What brand?
Harrop 2650.
Wow.
Nice. So I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes on the screen, or if you're here at the track, guys, you don't want to miss this. It looks real tight too, Mark. I'm not going to lie. Now, Steve, Albert's actually driving that Falcon up the back there, and the car apparently, this is the first time, Steve, the car's been out since 2016.
Which car? The yellow-green one we were talking about before?
No, the purple Falcon XW.
Oh, no, XTXR.
XTXR, yeah.
The one with the round
yeah.
taillights, yeah.
Yeah, first time since 2016 they've had that car out here.
Wow.
So great to see it back, and I cannot wait to see him come back out. Or we're just talking, he ran in the low 11. There's a 10 in it. Let's be honest, mate. That car is beautiful inside and out, and we've got some. We don't have a lot of cars here tonight, but what we do have is quality. And of course, the bikes have come out in force again. Great show of support from our two-wheeled brigade, as per usual. We look forward to seeing more of the motorcycles as the weather starts to warm up a little bit.
Okay, so the Audi just left that start line, Stu, 174 to the 60, and runs on through for an 11.23 with a 123 mile an hour. The Cortina an easy 13.99, and again, not wanting to build boost that car.
No, it
So,
builds it well in the burnout.
While you two are up there, I think you might want to face your eyes to the camera because you'll probably be able to see me. I'm going to chat with this gentleman here, and for the first time, boys, I've actually got to kneel down on one knee. G'day, mate. What's your name?
Mark Hooker.
Mark, welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real, mate. Your little Suzuki Cappuccino is one of the coolest cars here this evening. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's I bought it a few years ago, and a mate of mine had a Viper kit with it. So, yeah, we just sort of went from there, put the Viper kit on, did the flares, built the wheels for it, and, yeah, it's pretty much standard. It's running a little bit more boost. It's got a front mount intercooler, and that's about it.
Well, mate, I just watched you go down the track earlier. That was a great run.
It was a lot of fun. Against me mate over here in the little Honda, yeah.
I reckon. Oh, no, he kept up with you too. I thought you were going to whip him, but you didn't. Go and have some fun, Mark. That's what it's all about, isn't it, boys? About a smile on the face. Doesn't matter what you run, as long as you're out here having fun.
Exactly right, Stu. And it's about testing yourself and doing the best that you can with the car that you arrived in.
Absolutely.
And just having a bit of fun. So I've just been, I've asked the question mark, and my source has come back to me very quickly, which is fantastic. This particular junior in question, without the weight, because it's how generally they slow the car down, they put weight bars in them.
Yep.
Without the weight's gone as quick as a 154.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. So 165 is with the weight. So I'm guessing the 165 is probably what you'd want. This car usually runs low, 8-second, 8th mile.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm assuming that with the weight in the car, he's looking at a 165.
Okay. So they're putting the weight in it to stabilise it, or just to slow it down?
To slow it down, because a lot of these cars, they're full billet blocks. The chassis themselves are quite light, and the beauty of the weight is they can put it where they want it to try and get. It sounds silly to get the weight transfer. I've seen a couple of photos now with cars lifting the front wheel, one front wheel, 10 centimetres, 100 mil off the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be such a bar.
It would be, yeah. But I can guarantee you my car never did that. It was never going to do that with falling off a cliff. But, certainly. You look at a car here on Aeroflow Race for Real Wednesday night, if they're running a 1.5 60 foot, they're generally
Yes.
just lifting either both front wheels or
Yep.
certainly one. So, you know, it stands to reason that the car would probably want to twist up a little bit as well, because they
Yep.
don't run a lot of bar work down the front, obviously to try and keep the weight down.
Yep.
Because let's face it, in the US, they're probably, you know, running low sevens in the 8th mile in the open classes where there's no restrictions.
Yep.
We obviously have our restrictions from a safety point of view.
Yeah. And we like our kids.
Yeah, but it'd be good to see them go quick too. I think they'd be pretty safe. So yeah, it's just a good comparison, I guess, to some of the cars that we get here. Obviously, there'll be a few that are a lot quicker, and there'll be a few that aren't so fast.
Yep.
Don't ask me what my quickest 60-foot was, because that was 25 years ago. And
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did this morning, let alone that long ago.
So yours was a Briggs and Stratton, was it?
Oh no, wash your mouth out.
No, is that
my car, we ran a Robin engine, which is made by Subaru. So actually like a little Japanese.
Yep.
Yeah, still single cylinder side valve, but the car had that engine in it when we bought it.
Yep.
But Dad liked the idea of like all that stuff in that engine from factory is all forged.
Yes.
So where back in the day when you're using the standard Briggs and Stratton components, as soon as you go to rev them up past about $4,500, the top end of the rod says,
okay.
"I'm not playing the party anymore," and brakes pretty much at the top of the big end.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, mate.
but we ran all standard parts in our car. We ran an aftermarket piston, but rod and crank were standard. But nowadays everything's billet.
Yeah, okay.
The whole engine, you're talking 500 plus cc's now. When I was racing, for most of it, was limited to 210. 11.04, 135 mile an hour out of the rocket lane.
Wow. 15.4, 98 miles an hour out of the Aeroflow lane.
So if you look, we're talking about the 60-foot there, that car in the rocket lane.
Yep.
It's just run 135 mile an hour. He was plus 2 seconds to the 60. So there's a fair bit of time to be made up in the launch.
Yes, yep.
On that car. Now, perhaps the driver might not be comfortable giving full throttle, might still have the traction control aids on and all that sort of thing. Another European car in the Aeroflow lane. 1.7 to the 60, just under 100 mile an hour at half track. 11.42 with a 5, 121 mile an hour.
And 17.6 at 78 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure I counted 5 gear changes in that thing.
It's probably, or we'll have to listen. But that's all we heard was the gear change. There was not much of an exhaust note outside of that.
No.
So, yeah. So an interesting way to go drag racing, to how much technology is changing the world of motorsport, isn't it? You know, like for an 11-second car, and I'm not being rude here, back in your day, of when I was 10 or whatever, for an 11-second car, it was a cranky street car.
Mate, you were a god.
Yeah.
If you run 11 seconds, your car was an animal and you were a god.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, to even drive it on the road, you wouldn't imagine to drive it daily on the road.
Yep.
It wouldn't even be contemplated, because to have a real cranky cam on it, probably a massive flat spot in the carpet. It'd run hot. All of those things where here we see all these modern cars out here that with the aids of technology and time.
Yeah, well, the guys are more worried with their steering wheel heaters and their seat heaters and playing with all that stuff on the line where...
Well, 11 at 12.7 at 114 mile an hour there in the rocket lane.
And 17.1 at 78 miles an hour.
Ooh, sounds pretty serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's got a set of radials and a roll cage in it, so...
It's a good start in it, Stu.
It is. It's funny, actually. I was reading an article during the week, boys, that there's Nissan... they're basically getting hounded to build a modern-day version of the Silvia.
Oh, right. Okay,
So,
yep.
I don't... Whether they will or not, I doubt... Look, personally, I doubt it, but you never say never.
Well, they haven't really done anything since the Silvia, have they? In that market,
No.
like 4-cylinder. They've got the Skyline, of course, but
I'd like to see him do something with the skyline in the way of a Godzilla.
Well, I think, 12.08 there in the Aeroflow lane to a 12.32, so not too much across the finish line, but I think they just released R36 in Japan. Whether we'll see them here, I'm not 100% sure. But you're talking like a race spec version.
An animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember that the GDR, when it was first released, I saw a road test on one of the social media platforms the other day, and it raced a Mitsubishi 3000 GT or something like that.
Yep.
And the Mitsubishi beat it in a straight
Really?
line.
Yeah,
The Mitsubishi beat it. It's just that the Skyline, I think, its premise was so much stronger on the racetrack than anything around, especially in Australia at the time. We had plenty of cars that made plenty of horsepower in a straight line, but throw a corner at it, and the Sierra was probably the only thing that I remember in the Australian Touring Car Championship that was really able to give it to the Skyline. But as soon as the track got wet or it was a windy track, the Sierra kept up with it in a straight line, but not so good around the corner. I mean, the Sierra was a good handling car from what I remember, but you watch the onboards of the cars, coming through a corner, and they're halfway through and they're doing a 90-degree turn on the steering wheel. It wasn't an easy drive, and I'm not saying that today's circuit racing's easy, but you don't sort of see that correction on the onboards nowadays, No. And what I love is that they're often talking to a commentator at the time, going, "Oh yeah, we're just doing this," not even breaking sentence.
Yeah. But I remember a video that I was watching, and it was of Brocky in the VK.
Yes.
And it was practice, and it was after Moffat pranged it, and they put it all back together again.
Yes.
And Brocky come down through the mountain, wet.
Yeah.
And this thing has just kicked out on him, and he's still talking.
Yeah.
Corrected, straightened it up, and kept going.
Yep.
You heard no drop in revs or anything. It was just unbelievable.
All right, Brett Stutchbury on the start line, taking on the UC Tirana. Nice launch from the Commodore. 154 to the 60. Dead straight down the Aeroflow lane. This is on a number 966 with a 7, 145 mile an hour. Wow.
And you're talking about the 1.5 60 foot out of the juniors.
Yeah.
And that car just run a 9.6.
Yes. I mean, mind you.
It's a big build-up.
His speed and ET to half track's a fair bit quicker, but you'd be disappointed if it wasn't. So just to give you an idea that the 60 foot's there. I mean, Brett's car is a street car, so you're not going to... I didn't hear any tyre spin or tyre protest or anything like that, so the car obviously is hooking up very well down there on the racetrack that's there at the moment.
Yep.
Maybe in a racetrack, I'll say a racetrack prep, could probably bring the RPM a little bit more up on the converter or on the launch. Is that tyre smoke out of the rocket lane?
I hope so.
I hope so, because it's not good if it's not.
Dropped away, so... Well, Falcon down in the rocket lane. Steve was having a bit of a yak about this one earlier.
Yeah, he got to the front of the line and then turned around. So I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know if he forgot something or decided that he wanted more page up action. I don't know.
Well, Commodore Ute goes out at 1.760 foot.
That big Falcon moving 100 mile an hour at half track and on the brakes early. 11.39 with a 5 at only 97 through the finish line.
And 13.6, 102 miles an hour for the Commodore Ute.
All right, here's this gorgeous Falcon that Stewie was talking about. Moved over to the Aeroflow lane for this pass.
Is Is that a Hercules sticker on the back window?
I don't know. I can see a sticker.
Oh, yeah, I can see the black writing, but I can't make out what the black writing is.
Car's too dark. Inside the car. Where's a shift light when you need it?
Yeah.
Certainly not shy in the burnout.
Nah, not at all. I sort of remember this car. Like 16 would have been around the time we were racing the Trana.
Certainly sounds pretty tough. I think Stu said around 11.0 earlier. A little bit of a pedal off the head of the throttle. 163 to the 60. Commodore in the rocket lane. 210 to the 60. And 11.06 with a 123 through the top end. And a 12.42 with an 8 at 116 for the Commodore in the rocket lane there. A couple of wagons here tonight. I was thinking that's the one that Stewie was talking about, but it's still over there, in the lane behind Joe. Oh, I can see the IHRA official there over talking to Brett. Aeroflow lane getting very close to the centre line on that pass. Moving back to the middle of the lane now. And a 12.51 with a 6, 115 mile an hour. To a 13.95 with a 4 at 106. I think that's the Toyota Sora in the Aeroflow lane, Mark. Absolutely firewalled it in the burnout. Had flames coming out of both pipes on the limiter, as you do. 089 tree leave there for Addising on the tree. 12.50, 110 mile an hour.
Very consistent, that car, isn't
it? It is. And a 16.4 for the Sora in the Aeroflow lane. Next up we have Sammy Joe Johnson in a VE Commodore. Recently switching over to the automatic transmission.
Yeah, it's gone away from the manual to a turbo 400. And I think they done a bit of rear end work as well. Got a big set of radials under the back of it.
056 on the tree. 168 to the 60.
Well, that change made a big difference, that car. Well, it's running around the 1150s now, I think. There you go. 1152.
I think she's hoping for a 10-second pass, but, you know, I think there was talk of a supercharger on at some point. So I'm sure that once that goes on, we'll definitely see that 10-second time slip.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we got the VF Commodore Ute making its way out of lane 6. So they should be into the tunnels very soon. So pretty sure what I heard, it's first time out for that car.
Mate, Uden back out. Now, he's told me, boys, that all he's done to the car is change the gearbox to a 2-speed power glide. That's all he's done. He hasn't done anything else to the car. So, to run the pass that he did last time, that's pretty impressive. I'll tell you what, if you're watching via YouTube and you're in Sydney, I don't know why you're staying at home tonight, guys. You should be here at Sydney Dragway because we've got some absolutely killer cars here tonight. And I've been absolutely pumped all day for tonight. Like, I've literally had a spring in my step. It's like having, I don't know, I just feel like, Mark, I've had like 3 Red Bulls. I'm that pumped for tonight, working with you and Steve.
I can see you talking with your hand down there.
Mate, I tell you what, mate, I should have brought my helmet. I should have got the rocket out because I reckon would have been a good run as the Falcon just turns those street tyres off the start line. And a 10.68 at 129 for the Aeroflow lane. Hey, we're not too far away from this PSC Racing sports wagon to come out, Mark. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time we had a pretty serious sports wagon out here, was it McLaren Motorsports, I think it was, from memory, years ago? But this thing is just next level.
Yeah, the chute definitely gives it away a bit, doesn't it, Stu?
That and the 10+ inch wide tyres on the back of it. But there is something about a station wagon being built into a race car.
Yep, absolutely. Especially a VF too, because like they are the end of run and the best ones they made.
11.57 with a 119 mile an hour there in the Aeroflow lane. Okay, so I don't think that's the driver's first burnout. The fact that it stood right up on the tyre. Ben's just asking what gave that away. Most people, when it's something they haven't done it before, they're a little bit more hesitant.
Nah, dive in deep, just go for it.
Yes. Of course, we have a number of very tough sports wagons. Listen to that supercharger on the live stream. You can hear it through our track cams.
146.
Yeah, 116.5 track. No shortage of horsepower there. 946 with the 137 off the trailer.
12.4, 116 for the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, I was just going to say we have some pretty tough wagons that do run here at Sydney Dragway.
Yes.
Most of them, actually all of them that come to mind are of General Motors product.
Yep.
There's a couple of VHs. There was that brown metallic one that ran a couple of weeks ago with the LS in it.
Yep.
And there is Pete Hamilton from down Canberra way, Perfection Automotive, runs that nitrous LS. The lime green one.
Yep.
In Top Sportsman, I think he's running now. But that thing, big wheel stands, runs no
There was a
wheelie bars.
VC running around for a while too.
Sorry?
There was a VC Commodore wagon, a silver one. Seen it run a couple of times and then it just sort of disappeared.
Or maybe there was some upgrades there. 8-second pass there for Joe on that run.
Yeah, that car's definitely getting back to its stage.
Yeah, I think the weather out there will be making plenty of horsepower. There's, all right, looks like we're back into our motorcycles for their second round tonight.
Yep.
And Ryan Frank's in the Aeroflow lane. He's on his GSF engineering-backed Suzuki Hayabusa.
I was just going to say, how good does that Hayabusa look?
Yeah, they look pretty tough. This one's massaged. It's got an extended swing arm. Ryan normally running in extreme bike.
Now, I'm not going to lie, Steve, but this bike that is down here in the Aeroflow lane, obviously it's got the extended swing arm, no wheelie bars. It is run as quick as an 890, but you look at that bike from directly in front, Steve, and just with the style of bodywork that is on it, it almost looks a bit like a pro stock bike from the front. It's got that similar design that they run in that class, but I'll tell you what, 890 on a bike, that is damn quick, especially on a radial tyre.
Mate, I'll go back a couple of years. I remember in the early days of S&R Pro when they first kicked off, and they had a couple of the GSXRs out here, and they probably one of the first ones that I've seen with the extended swing arm and turbocharged, and that thing's running down into the sevens.
Yes. We were talking about technology before. It's not just cars that the turbochargers and performance upgrades are making their way into. The bikes definitely have not been left behind in performance upgrades and bolt-on bits and extended swing arms in terms of getting the power to the ground. You're at the point where power management is actually a thing. You're not just leaving the line at full throttle. Not that you probably ever do that on a bike, but certainly it's how quick you can get more horsepower to the ground will give you a better result. So an 1188 with a 5 there at 110 mile an hour to a 1270 at 103.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you were saying, Steve, that, like go back 20, 25 years and you look at all these bikes, like there was stuff available, but
I think the availability of it, certainly with the interweb and all that sort of stuff, has opened all that bike in the Aeroflow. They're right on the centre line there across the finish line. 1074 with a 137 to a 984 at 150 in the Rocket. I think the introduction of the internet has certainly
absolutely
opened many doors for performance parts from around the world to be found and implemented, especially in Australia. I mean, we're typically a very, very inventive nation due to the fact of not being able to get a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But certainly with internet and online shopping,
good old eBay.
eBay and similar.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of a word because I always spend money on eBay. I never sell anything. It's certainly allowed us to take technology from around the world and adapt it to what we're doing with it. You said 25 years ago, back in the day, a pro stock motorcycle was flat out getting in probably the low 8s.
Yep.
On a full tube bike, extended full chassis, $1 gazillion in an engine and a clutch. Yep. Where now we're seeing, I mean, I don't know how much bikes cost. I'm not going to try and hide that fact. But now we see, the extended swing arm turbo Hayabusa's, 215 mile an hour, 670s. That's a fair improvement in ET and speed.
Yep.
In a bike that doesn't have or appear to have the same chassis work, the chassis technology in it. Yes, it's got an extended swing arm, and there's probably a lot more science in that than what I'm giving it credit for. But two completely different styles of motorcycle.
Yeah.
Couple of nice Nissan products down there on the, one's a Lancer, beg your pardon. I was looking at the early model Nissan Pulsar. That is in a really, really good condition. Up next is the little Corolla with the Rotor number plates on it. No, I can't read that from up here. I saw it when it was coming in. I'm too honest, I swear.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it's been a little while since we've seen this car out here at Aeroflow Race for real. The 2K20 Automotive and Just Engine Management Roller is back. The gentleman just told me he's back with a better gearbox. So fingers crossed, boys, it holds together. But I'll tell you what, the Red Devil is back and looking splendid in that candy apple paint job.
What's his number plate? Is it Roller or Rotor? I think it's Roller. It's Roller. See, I can't even read the number plate.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Steve, I couldn't quite hear you through the earpiece, mate.
I was going to say, I thought the number plate said Rotor as I drove in.
Yeah. Well,
it's close.
It's great to see him back, but hopefully, it is a manual in that box as well, so does have to be a little bit careful, but he's putting on a good show.
You can see the shift light from here. It's flashed at least 3 times.
Yeah.
1486 with a 692 mile an hour through the finish line to a 1312 over there in the Aeroflow lane.
So I was watching a bit on YouTube, and it was on, is it Red Nats, the one up in...
Ian, I'll tell you what, one day I'm going to tell Ian that he's going to take his car on the burnout pad. He absolutely loves his burnouts. And look, Joe and the team from Highcomp, to do all the preparation for the motor on these cars of his. He's out there having a lot of fun, and it's great to see that Joe came out last week for Aeroflow Race for Real as well. Got to see firsthand how we're going at this, I guess you could say, grassroots form of motorsport, and Ian out with 11.65.
Yeah, pretty good pass there in the Rocket Lane. 14.94 with a 0.96 mile an hour through the top end for the Aeroflow lane there.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I was watching YouTube, and it was a bit of drag racing. I think it's up in up top of Cairns. They race on the main street.
Yes.
And early model Gemini.
Yes.
With an SR in it.
Yep.
1,000 horsepower.
Is that the? No, that's not what I'm thinking.
It's a real bony colour. Terrible colour, but a factory colour.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just cleaning up cars.
Gemini or a Datsun?
No, Gemini.
There's a Datsun 1200 wagon that's making 1,000 at the tyres, I think.
Okay, yeah.
He's run like a 9 something, I'm pretty sure. I hope I haven't not given him credit, but it's a bit of a weapon of a car.
Yeah.
And it's that, I'll say poo brown, I don't know how else to describe it. The tan or the, what's the fawn is the colour?
Yep.
Yeah. It looks okay on that car. It wouldn't be my choice if I was buying one.
Yep.
But, sorry? Yeah, brown. Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they call it baby brown.
Baby. See, we all know
Yeah.
what I'm referring to. The Corollas had something very similar
They did,
in their era of cars. Actually, I think probably most manufacturers, I think even Cortinas came out in a not dissimilar, not dissimilar choice.
Yeah.
Keeping with trends of the time. One 176 to the 64, the Rocket Lane, and 11.94 with a 6.1, 12 mile an hour through the top end to a 13.0 at 114. So big speed for the, I think it was a Falcon in the Aeroflow lane there, Mark.
Well, we got the Falcon back out again, and up against a BMW. So BMW with rumour number plates.
I'm not saying anything.
Not spreading any rumours?
No, no. Well, that was interesting, Mark.
It's a different way of getting off the line, isn't it? I'm not sure whether that's how they're getting the thing to build boost, or yeah, it's different, isn't it?
It's like a two-step / bump box all in one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's what it appeared like, the way it was on and off a limiter of some form. Anyway, Mark, we might throw to our big screen for a couple of words from some of our sponsorship partners here at Sydney Dragway. Mark, I and Stu will be back with you very, very shortly at the Aeroflow Race for Real here at Sydney Dragway.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision-impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to the Western Weekender. The Western Weekender is Penrith's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment, puzzles and so much more. The Western Weekender is the heartbeat of Penrith and it's out every Thursday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area, home delivered, or check out westernweekender.com.au.
boosted turbochargers from Aeroflow Performance are designed for the automotive enthusiast who wants optimal performance at a competitive price. We have a range of turbochargers in both ceramic ball bearing and 360-degree journal bearing options to suit your power levels from 200 up to 3,000 horsepower. To help turbocharge your vehicle, Aeroflow Performance also have a large range of turbocharger accessories. From steam pipe turbo manifolds, external wastegates, and intake and exhaust solutions, you can have your car boosted in no time. For a full listing, check out aeroflowperformance.com.
Speed Addict Clothing Co. Fast clothes for fast people. Shop now at speedaddictco.com.au.
Well, boys, in the words of Carl Cox, oh yes, 78 Barra is here tonight at Aeroflow Race for Real. This is a bit of a commentator's favourite car. We love this 1978 Falcon, and with a Barra underneath the bonnet. And it's not slow. It might be a big car, but I'll tell you what, it runs the numbers. Tell you what, there's a good vibe out the back too. If you're not here at Aeroflow Race for Real, guys, I'll tell you what, you want to get out here. '78 Barra, just winding it up in the burnout. Taking on the Audi.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stu, we've seen some of these Falcons with the Barras in them. And I'll tell you what, doesn't matter how heavy the car is, it just drags them along.
Well, the old saying goes, Mark, you know, when you do an engine swap in some of the older cars and put a lot more modern technology into them, it's just amazing how far they can push them, considering that, you know, years ago you had one of those, you wouldn't expect it to be running a 1088 with a turboed 6 in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a credit to all the racers and people that actually go, you know what, I still want to drive a classic car, but I want to put some modern technology in it and see what I can do with it. And I'll take my hat off to them. We've got the Caprice coming out now in that beautiful dark green that Holden had. I love that green. And Nan's VN, the Holden Bellina.
Well, it's great with those track mics. You can just hear that supercharger whining away.
Oh, it sounded good. Now, I saw this car on the way into the track here tonight, Mark. Oh, so tough. And I was just had a chat with the driver before the event started. Apparently he's got a Tirana with the same number plates. But he's retired the Tirana. It's more a street cruiser now. So he's out here in his Commodore, having a bit of fun. Just fighting for a little bit of traction out of the car. The little UC Tirana doing a great job. 0.153 on the tree. Yeah, Brett Starchbury coming out now. I just had a quick chat to Brett before he came out. Still got the IRS rear end in the car. And it's great to see some of our Super Street competitors coming out and having fun here at Aeroflow Race for Real. Of course, there's a little bit of a nickname for that class these days on Facebook. They call it Top Fuel Super Street. A few of the races, and look, they're a great bunch of guys. And you know, a big part of drag racing is the Aeroflow Performance or Aeroflow Sportsman series. And a lot of the Sportsman races are very approachable at our big meets. Steve, you're very lucky to be able to commentate on them a fair bit.
Yeah, also pretty lucky to be able to meet a lot of them as I do the trophy presentations and that sort of thing. So always good to put a face to the name. As Brett shoots that Commodore down that rocket lane for yet another pass. 167 to the 60 and a 979 with a 4, Stu. 144 mile an hour. That's 225, 230 kilometres an hour.
Yep.
That is certainly moving. It sounds really strong, that car too. It's not spinning the wheels. It's not moving around. It's doing everything that it should.
Very well set up car indeed.
Oh, we've got Albert back out in the Owls Automotive Tough 347 about to come out very soon. But in front of him, we've got the Lions VF Commodore taking on 99 GMH.
And the Commodore will get there first. 12.19 with a 4.118 mile an hour.
And 13.7 for the Aeroflow lane. Well, Falcon, nice strong burnout.
Yeah, it does sound very nice, doesn't it? Nothing too shy in that burnout.
Just getting it moved over towards the middle of the track.
Just looking at our Aeroflow flags down there on the infield. They flutter every now and then. The air very still out there. Certainly on the start line, that Falcon 164 to the 60. 100 mile an hour at half track. And an 11.05 at 112 mile an hour. It's very consistent, that car. He went 11.03, I think it was, on the last run.
And 14.0, 109 miles an hour for the Commodore in the Aeroflow lane.
Just to all our racers, guys, I know we say it every week, but we say it for a reason. If you're at the back, guys, just please make sure that your air conditioning is off. Please. Just so we don't have too much water come out of the exhaust pipe with the condensation. Hey? Or climate control for that matter, I've just been told. So please make sure that your air conditioning and your climate control is off as well, guys, please.
Next up, Brian Addising down there in his VY Commodore. Out for another 12-second pass, I'm betting.
Yeah.
Not scared of an old skid, is Brian down there?
No, not at all. And this thing, again, is like the red one they got, just super consistent. But look at the light in the rocket lane.
008. Of course, the perfect light is 000.
Yes, indeed.
And I see on email that we're now doing the jackpot again, Mark.
Oh, okay.
So my understanding is the perfect light has a jackpot of $300. If it doesn't go off, it rolls into the next week.
Yep. Okay. So it just builds and builds.
Yes. Of course, that there is a couple of limitations there from memory. You can't have any rev limiter / trans brake or anything like that. You can't run slicks, and the car has to be street registered.
Okay. So which is good because it gives you street car. Well, 11.4, 119 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Up to a 11.6 for the Rocket lane. We do have our track crew just having a bit of a look on the track.
Yeah, I think they may have just picked something up on the left-hand side of the Aeroflow lane, just doing a double check before we send this nice-looking Commodore down here in the Aeroflow lane down. He's going to be taking on Eden from Area 51. He's pumped. He's ready to go. Top Fuel Super Street come out in force tonight here at Aeroflow Race for Real. I don't know, Steve, actually who came up with that name. I know it was one of the Super Street competitors, but I quite like the little nickname for that class.
Of course, if you can't have fun, there's not much point doing it, is it?
Yep, you gotta have a bit of fun. That's what you're coming out for.
Yeah, 100%. Plus to send it, get rid of all that work stress and all the other stuff.
Absolutely. And you don't want your car just sitting around carboning up, so.
Carbon.
Put some of that good stuff in it and just flog it.
There we go. The signal given. Very low RPM in the burnout there for Eden. It's like it's on about 10% throttle.
Yeah.
Hooks up very well, that utility. For a ute, sometimes the weight transfer not that favourable, but 146 to the 60, 957 with a 7, 144.
And 12.4, 129 miles an hour. Yeah, you're right there, Steve. That thing leaves so nice.
It just squats and goes,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yep.
Again, we can't hear any tyre protest or wheel spin or pedaling, what we call pedaling on and off the throttle or anything like that. I guess the beauty with a turbo car and with boost controllers and that sort of thing, you can set a tune that doesn't give you full throttle, even though you are actually full throttle. You know, you can delay when the boost starts to come in, or when you actually do get full throttle. But I would suggest with a 60 foot of 1.4, that's not happening.
No, it's just launching.
It's launching at full noise. We've got another old Holden sitting down there in the staging lane, Smart.
HG, HT. Can't see the back, but looks like a HG. One of the first ones with a plastic grille.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Learned something new there.
Commodore just turned the tyres. The Skyline also done the same, but just launched out. (11.8), 118 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane to a 16.3, 109 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. The ex-Commodore in the Aeroflow lane up against the Falcon Ute. Commodore goes out at 158, 60 foot. Goes through 11.4, 120 miles an hour to a 13.1, 107 miles an hour. Well, Joe Savello up against the Commodore wagon. Whoa, just blows the tyres off the wagon, getting very close to the centre line. 8.9, 151 miles an hour to a 9.8, 139 miles an hour for the wagon. Well, the wagon just a little bit skatey all the way down the track. Okay, we just have the lights on at the moment. Okay, we are just waiting on the top end of the track. I think they're just checking everything out up there. Once we do find out, we will give you an update on where we're at. So we might go up to the big screen and get a few words from our sponsors, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Well, actually, no, we might be. Yep, we are. We're back into racing. We won't bother. There's HQ Monaro. Oh, Monaro getting out, getting very, very unsettled, the cars.
That is very uncharacteristic of that car too, boys.
Mate, I think it's got a bit of a problem with the rear end of that car. We do have our track crew just checking the track. Yep, everything all right on the track. Bike in the rocket lane, the rider just struggling to keep that front wheel down. Nine, 150 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Ten, 8, 2 and 11, 8. Ryan Franks on the Hayabusa down in the Aeroflow lane. Nine, 145 miles an hour to a 9.8, 146 miles an hour.
That looked really good off the start line on that pass out of that swing arm bike. Looked fantastic. Next up, we've got one more bike. Then we're going to have GMH 167 come back out. Great to see that car back again this week here for Aeroflow Race for Real as well. A huge big thank you to Aeroflow for continuing to sponsor Race for Real. And of course, if you need car parts, guys, make sure you grab yourself a copy of the Aeroflow Performance Catalogue. You can pick it up in the scrutineering shed. And I'm sure that there will be something in there that you could use for your car.
$13,799 miles an hour to a 16.4 at 85 miles an hour. We've got the Corolla down in the rocket lane up against the Subaru.
Of course, we're very lucky here at Sydney Dragway. We have a couple of new sponsors that have come on board. And of course, one of them is Platinum Powder Coating. We welcome them as part of a sponsorship here at Sydney Dragway. And if you need to get any powder coating done, guys, make sure you go and see the boys.
Oh, nice strong burnout from the VF Commodore. Well, Commodore on a great pass, 11.5, 122 miles an hour to a 14.5, 97 miles an hour. Nice little burnout.
And also,
from the
guys,
VS.
one of our newer sponsors that has come on board here at Sydney Dragway in the last week or two is Countryside Property Group at Bingara. They're a real estate agent. So welcome on board, guys. Welcome to being part of Sydney Dragway, the place where excitement lives. So that's on top of all our fantastic sponsors that we do have here at Sydney Dragway. Kubota, of course, they sponsor us with the tractors that we use to prepare the track. And they're a great piece of machinery. Of course, Pro Signs, those guys have been a big part of Sydney Dragway for a long time. Go Logistics, of course, our same-day couriers. So if you own a business and you're thinking, you know what, I want to be part of Sydney Dragway, get in touch with the Sydney Dragway office and get your name promoted all around the world, not just here in Sydney, all around Australia.
We got the two Audis. Eleven, 3, 123 miles an hour for the rocket lane. And 14.2 for the Aeroflow lane. Twin turboed Cortina down in the rocket lane. Just trying to build that boost. $15.9, 87 miles an hour to a 12.8, 113 miles an hour.
Yeah, the Cortina mark didn't sound like it wanted to get up on boost. It sounded pretty flat when he left the start line, but I'm sure they'll get that rectified. How nice is this Calais down here? Yeah. This thing is beautiful. First timer and taking on the Tesla.
Well, 11 to 119 miles an hour for the Tesla to a 14 free at 99 miles an hour. Well,
Yeah, Kyle just picked it up. 666 on the tree there, the devil's number for the Tesla. I guess, in a funny way though, Mark, I guess Kyle is 100% right. It is a devil car because all our other cars have got engines.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Skyline and a Honda sitting in the burnout box, just waiting on the Falcon Ute and the Commodore.
Now, it's great to have a few different models of Skylines here tonight. Of course, we've got Godzilla, which is here tonight. We've got a couple of R35s. Now we've got an R33. So, great to see the GTR owners bringing their cars out here to Aeroflow Race for Real and having a lot of fun down the quarter mile and doing it in a safe way. And he's taking on the Honda Civic Type R.
$14 to 108 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane to a 14 free, 100 miles an hour even for the Rocket lane.
Great stuff there from both those cars. Good racing tonight too from all of our races here this evening for Aeroflow Race for Real. Of course, I did mention some of our newer sponsors that we've got here at Sydney Dragway, but of course a lot of our great sponsors have been a big part of the track, Mark, for a very long time. Of course, Atlantic Oils have been a massive part of Sydney Dragway as well. Platinum Racing Products, who are just going from strength to strength in the drag racing and motorsport scene in general at the moment. It's great to have them on board as a sponsor here at Sydney Dragway. And of course, if you've got a GTR, guys, and you're looking for parts, make sure you do check out Platinum Racing Products. Now, we've got rumours, which is back this week. Of course, this little BMW, you wouldn't think much of it, Mark, but it's actually a pretty quick car for what it is.
Yeah, it is indeed, Stu.
That Falcon, Mark, it just took off and there were some sparks that were coming out of it. And it looks like it was just maybe rubbing the tyre oh so slightly. It does have a big set of tyres underneath the rear end of it. And there was a fair bit of smoke that looked like it was coming out of that right-hand side of the car.
Yeah, I did see that, Stu. I seen those couple of sparks that did come out and carried up the track a fair bit.
Now, of course, guys, if you want photos of your car, we've got some fantastic photographers here this evening. We've got Setho's photography with us here. Great to see Setho here. Legend, you know you are. Of course, Mad Car Media are in the house as well. What are you looking so embarrassed for? I'm giving you a rap, you know? We love all our photographers here at Sydney Dragway. And, of course, I'll tell you what, if you've got a car and you've got a man cave, or even if you don't have a man cave, you know, I reckon the best place to put a picture of your car, without a doubt, would have to be the first place you look at when you wake up in the morning. Especially if you're married, eh, Mark?
I'm not saying a word.
Now this is one mean-looking BMW. It's been debadged. So, and I'm not really up in the BMWs in terms of models, but this thing looks evil. I love it. It's certainly got the horsepower to match it. He's taking on the VRX Magna in the rocket lane, but this BMW on a mission, and a 1089 at 136.
And 13.9 at 99 miles an hour for the rocket lane.
All right, we've got to battle the Fords, Mark. We've got the Ford Focus ST down here in the rocket lane. And we've got this tough Focus down here, one of the earlier models. Now it's got a little sticker of a turbo on the side of it, so, and by the sound of it, it is not stock. Look good out of the hole out of the car, a bit of smoke out of the rear end of it on the gear change. That is one angry little Focus, and a 1247 at 119.
And 15.6 at 99 miles an hour for the rocket.
Right, we've got Glenn coming out now in the Commodore wagon. And 78 Barra coming back out for another pass.
Yeah, he just held this one up on the line for a fair bit of time, just trying to build the boost up. Well, 10.6, 127 miles an hour to a 16.3 at 84 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was a lot more aggressive off the start line. Built the boost up, and you could see it as soon as he left the line. He meant business, as we've got this beautiful looking R35 coming out. This thing is one of the cleanest R35s I've ever seen. This thing is gorgeous.
Great colour too, Stu.
Oh, it is. All right, we've got Tough VT back this week. Great to see it back. The VT Commodore.
Well, the VT goes out at a 1.764.
I won't repeat what IHRA just said to me then, Mark. But all I can say is it was very funny. Now, speaking about Godzilla, the R32 on its way out is taking on the mighty UC Tirana.
Well, 14.6, 94 miles an hour to an 18.9 at 68 miles an hour.
All right, Oh So Tough is about to come out now, the Commodore sedan. And it's going to be taking on LS Line, this black sports wagon. So no matter if you're a sedan lover or a long roof lover, it should be a really good race. I've actually been lucky enough to have a drive of this particular model of HSV in the past. And I've got to say, Mark, it was a hell of a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, definitely a bit of fun to drive. HSV do put together a really good package. (13.0), 110 miles an hour to a 15.0, 101 miles an hour.
All right, Brett Starchbury back out in the Commodore, the turboed LS. That turbo is massive. So it's just like the size of a watermelon. Now think of the size of one of those, and that's like what the turbo's like. It is massive under there, and Brett doing a great job with this car. Of course, one of our Super Street competitors, and such a well set up car, still IRS. The Commodore in the Aeroflow lane, just a bit of a bounce just before 3:30, a 971 at 145.
And 13.8 at 110 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Yeah, that Commodore in the Aeroflow lane was moving around a fair bit, wasn't it, Stu? Now mid-track.
Yeah, it was a weird one, Mark. It got out of the hole good, and then as soon as it got to 330 foot, it went up and went back down. So I'm not really quite sure what was going on there. Now, our track staff just picked up something off the track that may have come out of Sammy Joe's car. No, Sammy Joe's looks like she's been given a thumbs up. And taking on Brian, her partner, in his Commodore. Got a lot of Commodores here tonight, Mark.
Yeah, mate, it's good to see.
I think all the Mustang drivers have got scared, Mark. They're not coming out.
I think they might all be broken.
Probably have. Actually, a little while ago, we had a Holden versus Ford theme night. It was one of the biggest nights we've ever had here at Sydney Dragway. I think all the Commodore drivers tonight are starting to stamp their approval. And they're all doing a fantastic job, as is everybody. So there are a few quick Fords out and about, don't get me wrong.
We got the wagon up against the ute. Wagon has just staged up on the back wheels.
Yeah, it's Eden down here, Mark, in the Area 51 Custom Performance ute. Of course, this is his street ute.
Tell you what, Stuart, that car is absolutely spot on out of the hole. 993, 143 miles an hour to a 12.4, 118 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's got that very well set up, considering it's got the new gearbox set up in the car. He's doing a great job in it as well. Now we've got the Supra, not too far off coming out. Of course, our next theme night here at Sydney Dragway is Super Night, which is being supported by the New South Wales Super Club. I cannot wait for that night, Mark. I know you love 2Js as much as I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a huge night.
10.8, 129 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane to a 13.6, 107 miles an hour. Will Supra up against the Mercedes-Benz. Eleven 125 miles an hour to an 11.1 at 127 miles an hour.
Well, Mark, it's great to see another first-timer out here and from Grimer's Garage, we've got Mad 71G, the HG Kingswood.
And it's up against the XR Falcon. Well, the Falcon just left way too early. Wouldn't get any ET at all out of that. But 15 free is 75 miles an hour for the rocket lane. The VF Commodore up against the XY Falcon. A 12.5, a 108 miles an hour to a 12.5, 116 miles an hour. The Skyline in the rocket lane up against the Falcon Ute. All right, guys, we might go up to the big screen and get a few words from our sponsor. We will be back with you very, very shortly here. Aeroflow, race for real.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition. I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality.
Hey, Mark,
and
I've just
don't
been
think
down in the
women
staging
belong in
lanes and
that's
just having a quick chat
one
with the
thing
driver
I'd like to
of
prove a lot
that
of
green
people wrong.
UC Tirana that's down here. It's got 202 in it.
And it's your ambition.
And he's actually got a factory turbo kit for that car, but he just wanted to bring it out tonight and see what it would run actually aspirated. And then we'll probably see that car in the future with a turbo on it, which would be insane. Now, also out the back here, just on display, we do have a couple of burnout cars here tonight as well. Of course, Fry LC is here. And if the owner of Fry LC is actually floating around, I actually need to have a chat with Mr. Vella. So if you are around, come and see me. And of course, we've got that blue blown Commodore Ute back again that unfortunately didn't get to do a burnout last week, had a few little issues, but hopefully they've sorted that out during the week. And we will see the two Veljon Racing Holdens out on the burnout pad a little bit later.
I just have a really personal trust with VP Racing Fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP Racing Fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Webb, involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports, bikereview.com.au. Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to Para News. Para News is Parramatta and the Cumberland area's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment, puzzles and so much more. Para News really is the heartbeat of Parramatta and Cumberland, and it's out every Tuesday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area or check out paranews.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans, Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
Whether you're building a street machine or a race car, Aeroflow Performance has a solution for you. Our ever-increasing range features boosted turbocharger systems, Bosch Motorsport products, X-Pro electrical systems, hoses and fittings, bang shift shifters, differential parts and fabrication components. You can see it all on aeroflowperformance.com.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's up. This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface. Turning the torque arm on the top of the device will rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
All right, looks like we got a pair of Golfs on the start line. Rocket Lane just bumping in a little bit deep. Doesn't matter. We'll still get a time recorded. Both cars around the 2 seconds, 60 foot. Pretty evenly matched. Looks like the Aeroflow lane just down in front, and we'll get there first. 12.52 with a 9. 119 mile an hour to a 13.14 at 105. So the Golf taking on the Commodore Wagon. The Golf in the Rocket lane. Looks like the Wagon's drawn up back alongside it. And back in the lead will take the win. A 12.43 with a 5, 118 to a 12.76 with a 2 at 105. Of course, this time of night, if you're getting a bit peckish and want to grab yourself a pizza, there's Troy's gas-fired pizzas up there on the mound at the top of the stairs. There's Go Nuts for Donuts up there as well, if you fancy a coffee and some cinnamon donuts.
Hey, Daniel Vella, if you are in the vicinity of the staging lanes, mate, could you come back to the car, please? Daniel, if you're around, mate. .13.02 with a 5, 111 mile an hour for our Commodore Ute in the Aeroflow lane there. Next up, we will have the R33 Skyline taking on the little hatchback down there in the Rocket lane. It's cooled off a little bit out there, Mark, has it? Let's see what these two can do. Just waiting the Skyline into full stage now. That's back away first from the start line. 228 to the 60. The Skyline moving over towards the center of the lane and a little bit loose. I can see the tail moving around a little bit. The hatchback at 12.52 with a 4. 116 through the finish line to a 14.9 at 117. Next up, the Magna over there in the Rocket lane. .3 seconds to the 60 foot for the Magna. Just noticed on the Track's website or Facebook page, I beg your pardon, that the Race for Real Wednesday night will be on the 28th of August will be our inaugural 4x4 theme night, which will be fantastic because that night is always brings out plenty of interesting four-wheel drives and people that aren't too scared to. Okay, guys, just need to make an announcement. If you are the driver of an Audi with the number plates RS3YK, RS3YK, could you please move your car? You're just blocking a gentleman who needs to get to his trailer. So if you are the owner of an Audi RS3YK, could you please go back to your vehicle and move it, please? Thank you.
All right, two very different approaches to accomplishing the same goal down the quarter mile. We have the Ford Focus over in the Aeroflow lane, taking on the big old Falcon Turbo 6 in the Rocket. The Focus away quite nicely, sub 2 seconds to the 60. The Falcon is fast, but he's not going to catch him from there. 12.36 with a 5, 120 mile an hour out of the Focus. And a 10.85 with a 6 at 126. So just to repeat what I was saying before, if you own a four-wheel drive and want to come along and participate in our theme night, our next 4x4 theme night will be the 28th of August here at Sydney Dragway, kicking off from 6 p.m. as always. Check out the track's website for all the details. Also saw that the 6th of October will be our next Sunday session, of course brought to us by Aeroflow. The race for real on a Sunday afternoon between 10 and, or a Sunday between 10 and 4. And we'll feature Clay World, which is a one-stop shop automotive event and experience that encapsulates everything we love about cars and bikes. Set in the heart of Sydney at Sydney Dragway, there couldn't be a better place to call home for such a monumental first event here in Australia. The event will feature show and shine, drag racing, roll racing, burnouts, giveaways, prizes and awards, shops, food and music, VIPs and special guests, and looks to be an absolutely fantastic event between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4. So there's drag racing between 10 and 1, roll racing between 1 and 3, and then burnouts from 3 and 4. What more could you ask for in one day's entertainment, Mark, where we have all of that happening here at the venue? As I said, so there's drag racing between 10 and 1, roll racing between 1 and 3, and then burnouts between 3 and 4. And that is, of course, the Sunday Aeroflow Sunday sessions, which will feature the Clay World.
Okay.
So on the 6th of October.
That's a sensational weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So there's a fair bit happening here at Sydney Dragway. If you haven't already liked us on Facebook, I suggest that you do. Track also announced this week a sponsorship partner by the way of Countryside Property Group in Bingara. So fantastic to have the Countryside Property Group on board. You can see their signage on the wall down on the burnout pad there. Behind the burnout pad. So it's fantastic to have Countryside Property Group on board. Recent signing here, and of course, if you would like to get involved in the racetrack in way of sponsorship through signage or events and whatnot, contact the office during business hours, and I'm sure Darian would be more than happy to talk to you about what you would like to do, what you propose, and yeah, hopefully get your business advertised on our throughout our venue. 005 on the tree for the Aeroflow lane. Strong lead, 13.64 with a 9.107.
Yeah, that Falcon just left the line with an absolute handful of revs, and that thing just carried the front high in the air all the way down the track. Nothing looks better than they got all that suspension all pulled up and they're going hard.
earning its keep.
It is indeed.
.183 to the 60 for the Aeroflow lane. And runs on through for an 11.1, 128.
And 13.5, 100 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
So I think we worked out the other week, 128's around just over 200.
Yep.
200 clicks. So fairly moving at the top end of the racetrack.
And we've got the Toyota Sora down in the Rocket Lane up against the Commodore Ute.
When are you going to bring your car out for a run, Mark?
I need a weekend meeting.
Or maybe you could come along to the one in October. You'll be
That's
done
what
by
I'm
then.
hoping
You have
for.
your brakes done, and
Yep.
you don't need brakes though. You're skilled. You can pull up on the gears. I couldn't hear what he said.
We've got a sand trap.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly where you don't want to end up.
No.
Brian Addising in his VY out for another run. 292 on the tree this run for Brian. 098 in the Aeroflow lane. Locked together. I tell you what, the black Commodore just in front, but the white one gets there at the top end, goes 12.58 with a 2, 118 through the finish line to Brian's 12.41 with a 6.
Absolutely nothing between them. It's good racing. Well, Sammy Joe down in the red Commodore up against the XY.
It's always good when Joe Sabello's in a good mood. He's not too far out from bringing out the Datsun Skyline. Just been out the back having a chat with Daniel Vella. And true story, Mark, that LC Tirana that Adrian does his burnouts in, Fry LC.
Yep.
It's actually an old drag car.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so Daniel bought the car a fair while ago, put a naturally aspirated V8 in it, and then kept the roll cage and everything in the back of it, and then it's been up to the blown combination. And like anything, when you go put a blower on a car, and it's a dart block that's in it too, it's there's a bit of trial and error that goes when you're running a methanol combination, as we all know. So you'll be out there having a bit of fun tonight, but the burnouts will be coming up a little bit later. But we've got 88 Sean out here now in this stealth-looking VK.
It is very stealth, isn't it, with those very, very black windows?
Mm. It's like a mafia car.
Yeah. Australian version.
Well, 179 for the 60. Goes through 11.7, 117 miles an hour.
2 at 12.57 with a 2 at 117 also.
Skyline versus Skyline. Datsun Skyline versus the Nissan Skyline. Well, actually, technically, it's not a Skyline. It's an R35 GTR. I remember Adrian Hodgson picked me up on that a number of years ago.
Yeah, just a small bit of technology difference between the two.
Well, Joe's car would at least run a computer for all injection. It'll be run by a computer as well. The engine probably not quite as technically advanced, but that's okay. It certainly does its job.
Yeah, it does its job,
another 8 second pass there, Mark.
Yes.
8.99 with a 151 mile an hour.
Yeah, so it's definitely getting back to the way it was running previously before he shelved it for a while.
Those pair of bikes are running down the racetrack. The Rocket Lane out in front, 10.17 with a 7.149 through the finish line.
And 11,700, 11 miles an hour for the Aeroflow.
It's a big speed for a 10.1
yes,
on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I had a very interesting story come my way during the week, boys. For those people that are about my age, and for most of the people that know me my age, I grew up in the sex spec era of the street scene, or towards the end of it anyway. Anyway, during the week, guys, I put up a post on the sex spec page saying if there's one car from that era that I would like to sit in, it would be Fly GTI. Now, it was a little Suzuki Swift, and it had a little bit of a turbo, had a fair bit of money spent on it. Anyway, this guy got on there and messaged me back, boys, and he said, "Oh, yeah, well, you know, I wanted to give you the keys to my Evo back down." And it turned out it was Ali from Elite Auto House.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, Ali was saying to me, boys, that he's actually still got Fly GTI. It's actually still sitting in storage at the moment. And I said to him, I said, mate, get that thing out of storage, bring it here, and let's let the people, particularly a lot of the younger people that didn't grow up in the car scene, they were probably still at high school or even still in primary school, and let them see one side of the car culture that, I'm not going to lie, boys, I actually miss it, because some of the rides were totally outrageous. There was a lot of money spent on them, a lot of money both on paint, engine, interior. It was a great time to be a big part of the street scene. So Ali from Elite Auto House, or if there's anybody watching via YouTube, or anybody here at the track tonight that's a friend of Ali's, tell him to bring Fly GTI out, because I want to see that thing on the drag strip.
No, but you actually do want to drive it too. That's part of it too, Stu.
Mate, I'd be just happy to get a photo.
If you can't drive it, you've got to be in the passenger seat.
I love that car very, very much. And, of course, Susie Tech, who are over at Thornley, they had a little bit to do with that car as well.
Yeah, it was a different era, wasn't it? All the show cars at the time were fully airbrushed, and
yes,
you know, on the top and underneath the engine bay, there was not even the trim. In some cars, they painted the seats with some sort of mural or whatnot. It's interesting how things go round, I suppose, because there was a period back in the 70s when all your pedal vans had murals on them, and
mate, that was it. Yep.
Yeah. So we're not quite in that cycle right at the moment, but you know, if you hang on to something long enough, it'll come back.
Yeah. When you go back to that really early era, mate, there was no doof stereos or nothing in it. There was just massive cams and big cubed engines. Yeah, you either had a small block Chev or you had a big block Chev.
Yes.
Or a Clevo. That was it. No one wanted a radio disturbing the sound of a very high, lumpy motor.
No.
A big puff of smoke out the back of the VL.
And the VL running 14.12 with a 7 and a 12.88 over there in the Rocket Lane.
Yeah. Well, Cortina back out again, up against the Nissan Pulsar.
Pulsar away first, but I think the Cortina should drive around him. Gets to the point where it sounds like it wants to come on boost, but
yes,
that's as far as it gets. Still a 12.56 with an 8 at 1:15. Now, by the sound of it, that's pretty much on no boost.
Yep.
And just on the engine.
So, as you say, first time out. So it gives him his baseline. He knows where he's at with the car. Knows what's right and what's wrong on it. So now he can take it home and start fixing all those little things. On a fresh build, you always have all these little problems.
Yes. We take a race meeting or two to sort them out.
Yep. Maybe throw the thing back on, put it on a hub dyno.
Yep.
You get a little bit more true aspect out of it from there.
All right, a pair of Golfs on the start line.
.11.5, 119 miles an hour for the Rocket lane to a 15.5, 69 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Supra up against the Falcon. .11.5, 125 miles an hour to a 12.4, 105 miles an hour. Okay, just holding these guys up at the moment. Just fixing up the 60-foot reflectors in the Aeroflow lane. .13.4, 108 miles an hour for the Rocket lane to a 15.8 at 87 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. VN Commodore up against the BA Falcon.
We were talking earlier off air about a set of wheels that I was looking at from one of my projects that was online. There was someone on Marketplace with a VN wagon.
Yep.
Not sure if they were selling the wheels or not, but I was looking and going, well, that's a really neat looking car. Like you'd see it was fresh respray.
Yeah.
Had obviously the painted bumpers, and the wheels on it were like 9s or 10s. I'm going, that's a pretty serious wheel. And then like for a street car.
Yep.
And then just in front of the front wheel, you can see the turbo housing sitting up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Gives you a pretty good indication of what's going on there.
Yep.
But yeah, it had all looked like it had all like Venetians in even the side windows.
Wow.
So had the sun visor on it, and yeah, pretty cool looking car actually. Obviously in the build, but the Falcon just turning around to the left on the hit of the throttle. Something not quite sounding 100% with that car. Just through our track bikes.
So we're just cleaning up the liquid horsepower that come out of that VN.
Yep, sweated it all out. It's all right, the Falcon sweated some out too. Not as much though, I don't think.
Yeah, VN can't do with losing horsepower, especially the 6.1.
In saying that, we had one not a couple of weeks ago for a few weeks. It was I think was turbo running into the 12s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Pretty sure
yeah.
if it's
Yeah,
if
we've had
it's
a
the
couple of
time
quick
I'm
ones out
remembering.
here.
We have had. Yes, they do respond well to having air ramp down their throat.
Exactly.
But I guess as most engines do, it just depends on how long they can keep doing that for.
Yeah.
Before
And
something, some other component says, you know what, I can't do this anymore.
And how much abuse you give it to them.
Yes. I saw a thing on Facebook, just doing the scroll last night, and it says, knock, knock. You scroll down the picture a bit more, and here's an engine with the head off. Number 5. It's got the whole side of the blocks missing, like it's taken number 5. half a number 3 and half a number 2 with it. Sorry, number 1. Yeah, like the engines, the blocks are throwaway.
14.4, 105 miles an hour for the Aeroflow. And 14.8, 103 miles an hour for the Rocket. Well, BMW back up against the Magna.
Yeah, the BMW's done quite a few passes here tonight. 135 on the reaction time. The Magna very aggressive on the launch that time. But I think that's about as far as it's gone under full power. BMW at 12.2 at 117.
Yeah, Magna just cruising on down the track. 21.6 at 49 miles an hour. So I'd say the Magna might have made some bad noises off the line. So he's just cruising it back round.
The Golf over there in the Aeroflow lane taking on the BMW. Oh, the Beamer getting a little bit crossed up off the launch. Obviously the traction control turned off there.
Yep.
Still rounds the Golf up at the top end, 12 at 69 with a 130 mile an hour still, so didn't hurt the speed.
Yep.
Till 15:48 there for the Golf. Now these two raced each other last time, Mark.
Yes.
And the little Focus did pretty well.
Yeah, the Focus definitely got away early, or earlier than the Falcon, because the Falcon was just building boost on the line. And just gone in a little bit too deep, the Falcon. Okay, just wheeling both these cars out so they can reset the computer.
It's super strong in second gear, that Focus. Just you see it accelerate. Quicker this time, 12.24 with a 121 mile an hour through the top end.
And 11.5, 103 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. And we've lost our 60-footer reflector again.
Sometimes it attracts friends with more, around 8 legs.
Yeah. Yeah, little visitors.
Yes. Yes, but talking about that focus, you can just see it accelerate, physically see it accelerate in second gear. It's a bit of a puff of smoke on the change, and then that's the only one it does it for.
It'd be an impressive drive.
They don't seem to talk to you like
no.
the other front-wheel drive cars that we have here. Which is interesting because you think with the 5 cylinders, they'd probably be producing more torque.
Yeah.
I think that shape would be 08.
Yeah, not sure, mate.
Yeah.
Not really up on the Ford Focus. And
there's 3 less cylinders there is for you to be interested. Just being honest. Just being honest. And it's got the wrong patch on it. Although I'm sure a 12.2 would get you interested if you were driving it.
Luke chasing down the Audi or Beamer.
Wow. Only 0.08 of a second between those two across the finish line. 11.72 with a 121 mile an hour in the Aeroflow lane. They're almost synchronized with their gear changes too.
Yeah, they
the
were.
ratios must be very, very similar. One would change and then a fraction later the next.
VZ Commodore up against the UC Tirana.
Nice light from the Tirana, went 040 on the tree. The Commodore well and truly out in front. Runs on through for an 11.79 with a 6 at 115.
And 18.9, 69 miles an hour for the Tirana. Even though it's a big time, very consistent each pass.
I wonder if it's going into D for drag.
I'd say so.
And I'm guessing it's probably a 6-cylinder as well.
Mate, could be the Starfire 4.
Maybe 18 seconds, yeah.
And yeah, and I don't think it would be helping it if you locked it through the gears. Good rods. That's all.
It's always something.
Yes.
It's good in everything. You just got to look for it.
Yeah, that's right.
And for you, it's the T-bar.
Yeah. Yep.
12.87 with a 110 mile an hour.
And 13.7 for the Rocket Lane. Another VF Commodore up against the Mercedes-Benz.
Sounded like the Merc went into, I'm not doing this traction control mode.
Yeah, limp mode's come in, that's it, gone.
Yep. There's probably some flashing on the dash and the driver kept his foot into it and it said, nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was definitely spinning the wheels. And a 13.03 at 117.
And 24.1 at 38 miles an hour.
The sad thing is that thing's done a limp mode pretty much the whole track and it's only just slower than the Cortina flat out.
Brian, another nice big burnout.
Wonder how many street meets he gets out of a set of tyres.
Yeah, no,
Two?
wouldn't be many.
2? Well, they could be worse. He could be into burnouts and get
Yes.
a minute and a half out of a set.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
12:35, big step up in performance. He's come away from 12:50, 111 mile an hour there.
And 13.4 for the Aeroflow lane.
This R35's picked all the fast cars to run against tonight.
Yes.
We know Eden will probably pull off another 9-second pass here. I think the Ute just spun the wheels a fraction in that Aeroflow lane.
We might have put the commentator's curse on him.
I think I have. Yeah, 10, 50, a 9 with a 2 still. Big speed at 142.
And 11.6 for the rocker lane.
No, the sky. Yes, you're right, Ben. The Skyline's definitely not slow. Or should I say the R35? Sorry, Adrian. Because I know you'll be watching. Sammy Joe out in front, runs 11.5 neat this time around. 119 to a 13.8 at 106. Just looking in our staging lane camera. Mark, that's a different car that's in that green. Have we seen that car run tonight?
No. Yeah, I don't even know what car it is, actually.
We'll find out soon enough.
Well, VF Commodore is in on stage, just waiting on the VK.
Sure, the VK went into the 11s on the last pass. Whatever the issue was after the burnout, 12.13 with a 6, 117.
12.4, 115 miles an hour for the rocker lane. Back into our bikes again.
And a 10.66 with an 8, 148 mile an hour in the Aeroflow lane.
And 12.6 at 103 miles an hour in the rocket lane.
Nice
good
light in the
reaction time.
Yeah. Both spotted that at the same time. 014 in the rocket lane. 11.05 with an 8, 123 in the Aeroflow.
And 12.5, 108 miles an hour for the rocket. Got the Corolla back out again. Up against the Smoke and HG.
Yes, definitely 10 out of 10 for effort. And a little roller, not given an easy time. I heard this thing run across the finish line last run. .29 with a 5.83 mile an hour over there in the rocket lane. And a 15.0 the old Holden. It's a Porsche. That's what the car was. We couldn't determine what it was because the headlights were on, blinding us in the camera.
Was indeed.
Because, I mean, Porsche is a pretty standout car as it is, Mark.
They are, yes.
And I think obviously that colour just says, did you really see me? Because if you didn't, you're not looking hard enough.
Look at me.
Yeah. Quite a wide car in comparison to the Golf that's over in the Aeroflow lane.
Yep. Oh, listen to that.
I know you're... Wow, that's motoring at the top end, Mark. 156 miles an hour. Wow. 11.40 with a 1. There was not much happening.
No.
For the first 330 feet there. Went 120 mile an hour to half track.
Wow, that just wound up.
So you're a Holden guy unless it's a Porsche.
Yes.
See, I know, I've learnt this, that you're a bit keen for a Porsche.
Yes.
See, if you sold your Ute and your T-Bar...
Yeah. I reckon the T-Bar should get it.
The T-Bar would allow you to tick a few extra boxes on the order form. You just need to find somebody that wants a T-Bar auto for a Tirana.
Yes. Yeah. Well, at the moment, all I've got is the Porsche jacket.
It's better than no Porsche jacket.
Yeah.
Think positive. Oh, you might have a set of driving gloves too in the pockets.
And the hat?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to have the matching cap.
12.37 with a 6, 110 mile an hour in the rocket lane. Hey, if driving gloves and a cap is what gets you there,
yeah,
and you can afford to drive a Porsche, then go for it, mate. You can wear whatever you feel comfortable in.
So it looks like I'm driving a Volvo.
Yeah, but they do 100 to 0 in 2.8 seconds or whatever it is. According to their ad.
Yeah.
Talk about the stop times rather than the 0 to 100. It's in reverse. This is true, Ben. This is true. Yeah, it's all about the manufacturer and how they want to sell their car. As you say, there's the Koenigsegg is 0 to 400 and then back to 0 again, just because it can.
Well, look at VW, mate. They had the best fuel economy going until they checked it. Oh, Volkswagen, that's it. Yeah, sorry.
Until they actually independently tested it. Yes. Funny that. All right, the Skyline taking on the BMW hatch down there in the rocket lane. The BMW running a string of 12.2s from memory. .075 on the tree for the BMW.
A little bit of a twitch off the line. Skyline moving round on the track. Flattened out now. BMW 12.7, 116 miles an hour. And 12.9 for the Aeroflow lane. Audi up against the BMW.
Just attention down in the pits, guys. We're aiming to go to burnouts at about 20 past 9. So if there's anybody out the back that would like to get one more run in, if possible, and you're in lanes 4, 5 or 6, Make sure you bring your car around, guys.
Just reading on our live stream, JS has written, and we're just talking about engine swaps. He's got a Mark II Golf, done an engine swap with the Golf RV6 engine in it that makes 800 horsepower with nitrous. I want to know how he fitted it in a Mark II Golf, because they're not a big car and certainly not being made for it, but I'm guessing there was probably a fair bit of fab work. He said it was front-wheel drive, and he's converted to all-wheel drive and ran what, Ben? 11 2? 11.0. Yeah, I'm guessing, as you said, with 800 horsepower going through the drive shafts, there's probably a fair bit left in that, because I'm assuming there was either a fair bit of moving around or maybe a bit of wheel spin as well.
Well, that type of horsepower, I reckon, there'd been a bit of detonation of the drive shafts too. You'd have some good drive shafts in there.
Yeah.
Hold that together. Well, 12.8, 109 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane, and 13.4, 110 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane. Commodore up against Tirana. To 112 miles an hour to an 18.7 at 70 miles an hour.
Finally, the R35 gets an opponent that is probably more fitting. Commodore away with the 196 60 foot. The Skyline is not happy going at 311.
Commodore goes across the line, 12.1, 118 miles an hour. And 16.7, 73 miles an hour for the Skyline.
Battle of the utilities there. The VS in the Aeroflow lane, making the absolute most out of the area between the starting line and the water.
Starting the burnouts early.
Yep. Oh, Eden's car been hooking up pretty nicely all night. That run just, we heard the tyres just squeal a little bit. And that was the run done. 11.7, still 140 mile an hour though.
And 14.4 at 69 miles an hour.
Sammy Joe Johnson on another low 11-second pass, 11.44 with a 3:1:18 on this run.
And 11.7, 127 miles an hour for the Merc.
Commodore over there in the Aeroflow lane, taking on the Falcon in the Rocket lane. Falcon will get there first, 12.56 with an 8. 108 mile an hour to 13.66 with a 9. Another strong burnout from the early model Holden down there in the Rocket lane. The Holden was out first. The early Holden was out first, but the Commodore was driven around at 12.41 with a 6.
And 14.6 at 94 miles an hour for the HG.
VK runs through on another solo, 11.92 with a 9, 115 mile an hour, 1.88 seconds to the 60. First pair of bikes leaving the start line. The Rocket lane went 1.93 to the 60. But the Aeroflow lane with the performance advantage runs a 10.43 with an 8 at 149 miles an hour.
Twelve 107 miles an hour to a 15.5 at 67 miles an hour. Lancer up against the Ford. $11.6 to a 14.5.
That Audi just got out of the hole beautifully, guys. Beautiful 60 foot out of that car. It's going to be a good time. 12.37, 110 there. As we've got this VN Commodore. It's got, looks like it's got a turbo on board. It's got the headlight missing and the intake pipe where the headlight should be.
Well, 13.1, 103 miles an hour for the VN Commodore to a 13.7, 119 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane.
Well, the Rocket Lane's still in front at the moment, but I think the Aero's going to get... Ooh, no, he didn't. Didn't make it there. It just ran out of real estate.
All right, guys, from Precision Racing, we've got V10 Killer about to come out, the Porsche 911 Turbo S.
Yeah, I think we've got some pretty serious money sitting in front of us right there. Right there, Mark.
So. Well, Stu, I'm not sure if you've seen the previous run for this Porsche. It had just an absolute massive speed at the end of the track. Just built it really high at the bottom end. Come on, a boost started turning tyres, so he stepped on out of it.
Didn't sound like it was spinning the wheels or anything, but yeah. The gentleman in the Focus can chalk that up as a win.
Yeah.
I can tell you, boys, the tyres are on the back of that Porsche. Very reminiscent of what they run on the Time Attack cars in the lower classes. They look like a Yokohama Advan tyre. It's got the big tread on it.
Yeah, they're probably, what, 12 or 14 inches wide each?
Yeah, big tyres on the back of those things.
And probably on a 20-inch rim.
Yep. We did have the Falcon coming into the Rocket lane, but it looks like he's...
he was sweating horsepower before he even did his burnout.
Absolutely, yeah.
The post-workout. The cool down. So nothing untowards going on there other than just got hot.
Yep.
Mercedes taking another run down the Aeroflow lane, and unfortunately no time will be recorded.
How good does that LC Tirana look?
Fresh stickered tyres on it. So that's 3 blown cars roll out from under the tower.
Well, I don't remember seeing a VW come like that.
No, it's had a few modifications. So the VN got a few accessories on the roof.
To see we have another good turnout tonight of burnout cars.
Yeah, that we do. I count 8 from here.
Oh, do we? Well, 14.2, 106 miles an hour for the Rocket lane. change of direction mid-track. (13.2) at 114 miles an hour.
Joe back for another run in her Commodore. She's taking home a fistful of time cards here tonight. Most of them with O lights on the reaction time column.
Yep.
0.48. See if she can run 11.4 once again. There we go, 11.43 with a 0. 119 mile an hour on that pass. Ooh, 0.29 on the tree for the rider in the rocket lane. The Aeroflow lane out in front now. And runs on through for a 10.16 at 150 mile an hour.
And 12.5, 104 miles an hour.
I think that's Tim down there on his Ducati in the rocket lane.
And 125 miles an hour. And 11.9 at 110 miles an hour.
I think listening to the track bikes, one of those bikes went way past the finish line, which we don't recommend that you do that. But I'm sure a bike will stop a lot quicker than a car does.
Yes, sure does. Well, definitely looks like we're just cleaning up now down on the starting line. And Stu is down on the burnout pad.
He's getting ready to get a lung full of tyre smoke, a couple of lungs full of tyre smoke. First 3 burnout cars are supercharged.
So it won't be too far away, and we will be in for some huge burnouts. Got some great cars out there. As Steve said, our first 3 cars are all supercharged.
Oh, have we got some blown action happening, boys? Methanol, EFI injected. Big blown methanol motors about to let loose. Of course, tonight we've got Fry LC from Veljon Racing. We've got the Blue Ute that was here last week. Unfortunately, had a little bit of an issue. He's back again to see if he sorted his problems out. A car that we don't generally see here at Sydney Dragway on a Wednesday night. It mainly comes out for our big meets, boys, is Little Monster, the blown Volkswagen Beetle. And they've got a whole heap of our NA V8 and V6 Commodores about to come out for a skid. Mr. Sendy's here with the lone Ford. So we'll just wait for our crew to get up to the burnout pad, and then we'll be letting loose. Just remember, guys, that while the burnouts are happening, just make sure you do stay behind the barrier there, please. For a really good night of off-street drag racing, boys, tonight. Wasn't a huge amount of cars and bikes, but I tell you what, the racing was cutthroat and really, really good times out of a lot of the cars that we had here this evening. Hope everybody that's been watching around the world on YouTube, I hope you've all enjoyed the off-street drag racing action. We've still got the burnouts to come. And I noticed we've got one person that had tuned in from Portugal. So first of all, welcome to viewing the live stream from here at Sydney Dragway. I hope you've really enjoyed what we had tonight. But don't go anywhere because we're about to show you guys internationally how we do burnouts here in Australia. And as I tend to do, I like to kick it off with all you guys. How are you tonight, Sydney? But you guys have been watching the off-street drag racing tonight. You've all been nice and patient. But we all know what you came for. So, Sydney, are you guys ready for skids? Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. Doesn't matter whether it's drag racing or burnouts. Boys, I get excited on everything.
Anything with
at the end of the day, I'm a fan.
Anything with a motor, isn't that right, Stu? And anything that produces tyre smoke, you're all over it.
Look, I still consider myself very lucky to be a part of this motorsport, form of motorsport, and living a childhood dream. All right, Sydney, how many kids have we got in the stand tonight? Put your hands up, kids. Have you guys got your limited fingers ready to go? Let's see those limited fingers. All right. Fry LC will be coming out. I know you kids love burnouts, as do your parents. Now, speaking about burnouts, my mate Tim Thornton. Where are you, Tim? I don't know if he's still here, but of course, it was a big part of the burnouts when I first started here at Sydney Dragway, and he's been helping out, supporting a couple of the drag races tonight. We're about to go, guys. Fry LC has fired up. So let's get those limited fingers in the air, guys. Let's get in some encouragement like we do best here in Sydney, the home of burnouts in Australia, Sydney Dragway. I think Daniel was just getting a little bit lost in the smoke.
I don't blame him at all, Stu. We can't see anything other than they just see the headlights starting to peer through the smoke now. But a very still night here at Sydney. Plenty of RPM and instant tyre smoke on the tip end.
a Sydney Dragway, stand up and make some noise for Fry LC. Daniel said to me earlier, boys, that he wanted to get a set of tyres off. He said he hadn't got a set of tyres off since they put the blown combination in the Tirana. And he's done it here tonight at Aeroflow Race for Real. Really good stuff there from the first of the Veljon Racing. Burnout cars next up. We've got the Ute. Hopefully it's going to play ball. Last week the harmonic balancer just didn't do what it's doing. This is a good start. Oh no, not what we want to see. There was a big flash of flame and a barbecue underneath the car. That is a shame there for the second of the Veljon Racing. Burnout cars this evening. But he'll be back. They'll get on top of it. Just want to say a quick hello to Bryce Lucas, who I dare say is probably tuning in via YouTube. I hope to see you back soon, Bryce. But it was a pretty big flash of flame out of the bottom of the Ute. These blown burnout combinations that can be very temperamental at times, to say the least, compared to drag racing to a certain degree. The amount of stress that these engines are put under. Looks like we'll have to get him towed off. There was a good start of the skid there for the Commodore.
Yeah, definitely Stu seemed to have a different approach to some of the other drivers, where he came off the starting block a little bit slower, plenty of smoke on the entry, and then a slower entry onto the burnout pad, where there seems to be a trend, if you like, with the tip in. The drivers come in with a lot more speed and try to go for a 360 or more in several spins together. But the Utes' approach there a little bit different to certainly what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, no, it definitely came in a little bit slow, and I think, a lot of the times these days, with a lot of the burnout comps that are happening around the country, a lot of the time, you do want to create a huge amount of smoke, but you want to have continuous smoke. And I think the big thing for a lot of the drivers these days is not only the entrance onto the pad and making sure you've got that quantity of smoke, but it's also your driving ability. And a lot of the judging around the country is based on driving ability, and a lot of them are starting to step it up. And it doesn't matter if you're a V6 driver or you drive a blown LS. It's all about the driving, and everyone's stepping it up year after year. But like I said, when you've got a combination like this, they are not easy. They're very temperamental. But ladies and gentlemen, would you please, I know it wasn't a super exciting skid, but he got out there and gave it a go. Please give him a round of applause. So I'm sure that we will see the Veljon Racing Ute back out again once they get on top of it. So just get the rice hole out just for a little bit of oil from where the car stopped. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we're very fortunate tonight. We've got Little Monster here tonight. Now, I have been told that he's got a new exhaust setup on the car. So tonight is very much a test for this new exhaust setup. So we'll see how he goes. Generally, he goes pretty good. So I'm looking forward to see what Little Monster's got for us. But Stephen Marks, not very often you can say that you have seen a Volkswagen Beetle with a blown LS in it.
No, there wouldn't be many around the world in this combination, certainly in the later model VW Beetle. But that's what it's all about, doing something a little bit different to the next person.
It's got the last of our pro cars about to hit the burnout pad. So let's get those limited fingers up. Let's go a little bit crazy for Little Monster. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Little Monster. Great stuff there from the Volkswagen. I just want to send a quick happy birthday out to Josh Howarth. He's here tonight. Of course, he's the driver of How's That? Happy birthday, Josh. And no, I'm not going to sing you happy birthday, mate, but Next up, we got Fried VX from Club Mang Nation. Sydney Dragway, put your hands together for Fried VX from Club Mang Nation. Great stuff, managed to get 2 tyres off. All right, next up on the pad from the Kalidi Motorsport Group, we've got One to Party is about to come out. This looks like another of our very quick pizza delivery drivers. Good save. Great stuff there from Wonder Party from the Kalidi Motorsport Group. Now, by the sound of it, there's a fair few Club Mang Nation supporters up in the crowd. Where is Club Mang Nation in the crowd? Well, I'll tell you what, guys. You've got VX Frying about to come out now. I know this thing puts on a good skid. Let's get those limiter figures up. Let's do this. Yeah, Sydney Dragway, that's how you do it. In a Club Mang Nation V6 Commodore, under 3 minutes, both tyres off on the rear end. Give him a round of applause, guys. VX Frying doing what he does best. Well, guys, keep it going because we've got another of the Club Mang Nation Commodores on its way out. We've got 92 Mang about to come out. Two Mang just getting a little lost in the smoke there. Unfortunately, tap of the wall there for the Commodore. He's got 30 seconds left. Can he get a tyre off? Guys, put your hands together for 92 Mang. All right, guys, we're going to bring it home. Our last car that is going to hit the infamous Sydney Dragway burnout pad will be none other than Mr. Sandy in the Falcon Ute. Well, Sydney Dragway, put your hands together for Mr. Sandy. Use the whole pad. Really good use of the pad there from Mr. Sandy. Well, it looks like that might be it for tonight's Aeroflow Race for Real. Hope you enjoyed the burnouts. Hope you enjoyed all the off-street drag racing tonight. Don't forget, coming up here on a Wednesday night, we do have our Super Theme Night, which is supported by the Super Club of New South Wales. So make sure you keep your eye on Facebook, on the Sydney Dragway Facebook page, and get all the gossip. What happens here at the place where excitement lives. I'm Stuart White, and I shall see you next week. I'll leave you with Steve to bring it home.
Thank you very much, Stuart. And as always, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors for the venue here at Sydney Dragway, all of our hardworking officials who have come out and made sure the racing has been done in a safe and fun environment. Thank you to all of our spectators who have come out to the venue and enjoyed the sights, sound and smells of Sydney Dragway. To all of our viewers on the Sydney Dragway official YouTube channel, once again, thank you very much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage of tonight's event. We look forward to seeing each and every one of you either online or at the venue next week here at Sydney Dragway. And on behalf of the commentary team, Stuart White, Mark Thomas and myself, we'd like to wish you all a very good night and a safe trip home. We'll see you all next week.